Good morning, East Bay. What is happening in Alameda, Contra Costa, and Solano counties? Learn about what's happening in our communities, an in-depth conversation so you know what's going on. We're talking to government, economic, political, nonprofit, and business leaders here in the greater East Bay. I'm Jared Ash, the host of the Capstone Conversation. Today's guest is the president of Cal State East Bay, President Cathy Sandeen.
Hey, Jared. Pleasure to be talking with you today.
So you are a lifelong educator and learner yourself. Tell us a little bit more about your background and how you ended up at East Bay.
Well, it really is somewhat of a miracle. I see it in a full circle moment because I was born and raised in the East Bay. I was born in Oakland and grew up as a child in Oakland and San Leandro, went to public schools, and I'm the first in my family to go to college, like many of our students. And I did choose the California State University system. I did my undergrad at Humboldt State University. I went on to do a master's degree at San Francisco State University. So coming back to the system, the Cal State system, of which East Bay is a part, and coming back to the East Bay is really a wonderful way to kind of, end my career in higher education. But I went into the field of communication and I got a PhD in from the University of Utah. I really believed that I would become a professor, but through various circumstances, I wound my way into the management of universities. And I found that I really loved it. I was connected to students and faculty and the academic enterprise. But throughout my whole career, and I started in the UC system in the 90s, we were always had financial challenges, budget challenges. How do we deploy our resources in a way that optimizes our mission? And I found that I was good at it, and that's been my career ever since. So I spent 22 years in the University of California system, all in the management side, UC San Francisco, UC Santa Cruz, and UCLA. Then I spent a little time in Washington, D.C. at a higher ed association, which was very great perspective for me, looking at our field from a national level, all the diversity of different types of universities, how different states operate. And then I became the chancellor or president of one of the University of Wisconsin institutions, and I was there for about 4 years. And then I did something really wild. I accepted a job as a chancellor or president of University of Alaska Anchorage in Anchorage, Alaska. And so that was my last job before I came here, back here to California and to the East Bay at Cal State East Bay.
Where the winters are probably better than Wisconsin and Alaska.
They are, but, there's a saying in those 2 states, there's no such thing as bad weather, only bad gear. So I came back with multiple puffy jackets and different types of boots, and, I was fine. I was fine while I was there, but I'm happy to be back. That is the truth.
Uh, that's good. That's a great career. And you can even share with your students how sometimes it's difficult to maintain a job. You just keep rotating, around. Which is something funny. The newer generation stays places 2 to 4 years, where older people are like, worked at the one company at IBM or Cisco for 30, 40 years. The diverse experience that you have with the different types of people and students and programs really shows how well-rounded and the different perspective you could bring into the university realm.
I think that's very true, and it also opens my eyes to the different subcultures in our country, which is, I think, important to understand. There's a common thread between all of those universities, and that is that they all were public. They all were high access, meaning they weren't selective. We're serving the first generation low income students of color. And all of them, I had to really look at how do we, as I said before, optimize our resources to meet the needs of the students and the mission. So there are some commonalities, but it was great experience for me. I do think sometimes you need to move out to move up, and my career is certainly a testament to that.
Yeah. So I want to pick up on one point you talked about is first generation college students, which you were, and a lot of the students at the university are. Talk a little bit more about that and how important that is for our communities here in the East Bay.
Well, thanks for asking that. And it's true at our university, Cal State East Bay, 60 to 70% of our students are the first in their families to earn a degree. And in fact, I look forward to our various commencement celebrations coming up in May because it really is a family event. It's an achievement for the whole family. And it is important for our community. You know, in the Bay Area, in the East Bay, we have very sophisticated companies, knowledge they need knowledge workers, highly trained, highly educated in order to fuel our economy. And we need to make it an equitable opportunity for more people. And that's really the role that we play. In many cases, but for Cal State East Bay, our students will not have earned a 4-year degree, but they do it here. We graduate between 4,500 and 5,000 students a year with a bachelor's degree or a master's degree, and 80% of them stay in the region and work in the region. So we really are supplying the workforce for this dynamic area. And fortunately, we have faculty who are very adept at working with industry and figuring out what they're looking for their industries and adapting the curriculum so that we are producing very career ready graduates. So it's important for the individual, it's important for the region, but it's also important for these students' families. You know, they are setting the tone for their siblings, their brothers and sisters, their cousins, and they are likely going to be helping with the financial support of their whole extended family. This is important for, maintaining that kind of middle class in our area. So on many levels, the fact that we've figured out how to serve first generation students, it's really an important part of what we do and like why many of us are so committed to a place like Cal State East Bay.
How does that compare to the rest of the Cal State system?
Well, there are 23 different universities in the Cal State system. So people probably know about the University of California system. They have 10 universities in their system. You think of Berkeley and UCLA, these are behemoths, they are big research universities. We are more of the teaching university. We're producing more bachelor's degrees and master's degrees, the teachers, the nurses, the social workers. That's always been our role. And traditionally, the California state universities were more similar to each other. We were called comprehensive universities. We served all the different disciplines. The majority of us are still regionally oriented, so most of the students come from the region. But there is some differentiation. So, for example, San Diego State University is huge. It has a much larger research profile than we do or other CSU's campuses do. They're more selective in terms of the students they admit, similar to San Luis Obispo. We have some of our universities are more ag schools. We even have California Maritime Academy is part of our system. So that's highly specialized. You look at San Francisco State, they're very focused on the performing arts and the arts. San Jose State is more engineering and tech. So we are specializing to a certain degree, but we are very strongly committed to being a high access institution. You know, we do not, we have, we admit a lot of students and we want them to come here. We provide a lot of services to support them in completing their degrees. That's really been our focus at this university.
And a lot of your students finish up at regional community colleges in the Bay Area and then come over more than they start with you, right?
That's correct. 60% of our students at any given time are community college transfers. So we work very closely with the community colleges in our region. And Diablo Valley College is, you could tell I'm an old timer. I don't say Diablo, I say Diablo Valley College, is a big feeder school for Cal State East Bay. A lot of students complete their first 2 years and then transfer to us. Similarly, Chabot Las Positas is another big feeder school for Cal State East Bay. And we work closely with those counselors at those colleges, as well as the presidents and the chancellors of those systems.
So is it a big commuter campus more than some of the other CSUs? Do more people tend to drive in each day versus live on campus, or is it relatively equal mix?
In our case, we've always been a commuter campus. That's been a advantage because students traditionally can live at home with their families, save money, and finish their degree. So that's still a pattern that we see today. Even so, we have 1,300 beds, we call it. We have student housing on campus, so we can house up to 1,300 students. We also have about 8 to 900 international students who come to us from other countries, and many of them choose to live on campus. So we do have student housing, but it's about 10% of our total students. Right now, we have about 12,000 students attending Cal State East Bay. It's a very healthy, vibrant community. It's changed a little though, Jarrett, um, following COVID. So during that time, all of education had to shift during the pandemic to remote delivery, and we did too. And we find that now that more of our faculty are comfortable with that mode of teaching, more of our students can be successful in remote classes, that they're choosing a mixed schedule. So they'll drive to campus fewer days for in-person classes, and they will complete many of their classes remotely. So it's a little bit of a different mix than we saw before the pandemic.
And are they doing as well in the outcome by doing the hybrid program and the learning?
Yes, they are. So I know what you're referring to. So during the pandemic, we had other factors that were at play. The isolation, the fact that students didn't necessarily know how to learn in that modality. But now students are self-selecting based on what they are comfortable with, what fits with their lives, and how they know they can learn. Similarly, our faculty are becoming more and more adept at teaching in that modality. So it is a whole different kettle of fish than we had during the early days of the pandemic. I'll also point out that in addition to our students, the majority of whom are first generation low income students of color, we also refer to our students as ultra non traditional. So few of our students are coming directly to us, paid for by their parents, directly to us for 4 years from high school. The majority of our students have complicated lives. They're working one or two or three jobs. Maybe they have family, children they are taking care of, or older family members they're taking care of. They might have a long commute. So, we need to add that flexibility into supporting them as they complete their degrees.
Yeah, I think all of us who work across the entire Bay Area are even happy to, if you're in San Francisco, avoid a meeting in San Jose, if you could do it on Zoom, but then once a quarter, maybe meet in person versus every other week or something. Flexibility is good that you guys have included that.
Yeah, we have also on the staff and administrator side as well. We implemented a telecommute program that, depending on the job and with supervisor approval, staff and administrators can work remotely up to 2 days a week. And we have about 70% of our staff and administrative employees who are choosing to do that. Faculty always had that sort of flexibility. and they continue to have that flexibility.
That's great because in a competitive workforce, we see that in the whole Bay Area is how do people strive to find that balance of come in and have that flexibility of staying home. Talk about, I want to come back to the business side of the equation. You talked about how your professors partner with businesses in the community to make sure we're evolving, you know, students who are ready to go into different sectors. What are some of the leading sectors that your students are coming out with? I know it's you have lots of different programs, but where do you see you being leaders? Where do you see yourselves working eloquently with the business community here?
Well, it's really focused more, I would say, on the STEM field. So science, technology, engineering, and mathematics, as well as healthcare. Some of our bigger programs where our students, 100% of them have jobs before they even graduate. A big winner in that area is construction management. So we have a bachelor's degree and a degree in construction management, and we're just launching a bachelor's degree in civil engineering. So the construction industry in the Bay Area really takes a big interest in our students. And our faculty over in that department have longstanding relationships with the large construction firms and engineering firms. And we have a career day each semester where the employers are, clamoring to get in and to be able to meet with our students. So that's one example. Of course, in the life sciences, we see more biotech and life science and drug development companies in the East Bay. That's really a strength for us. And so that's another area where we're building those relationships. Healthcare has always been strong because, say, a nursing program, we have to build in clinical practicum as part of the training of a nurse. That requires us to have a very close relationship with hospitals and health systems in the Bay Area, and that continues. But I'm proud to say that we have launched a enhanced career center at Cal State East Bay. And part of that is recognizing that if most of your students are the first in their families to earn degrees, they're going to be the first in their families to enter a professional level job. And they may not have that support at home. How do you handle yourself in an interview? What do you wear? How do you write a cover letter? What do you say in a resume that will get it through this, you know, AI scanning system that most companies are using for HR these days? So we do have points of excellence in different departments, but what I wanted is for every student at Cal State East Bay, regardless of their major, to start thinking of career early on. And so we are fortunate that we have a very generous donor, a couple from Silicon Valley, who have given us over $1 million so that we can hire a couple directors for 5 years to really seed money to get this started. And we call it the Career Empowerment Center, and we are going to be infusing career information into our regular classes. That's considered what we call in higher ed speak a high impact practice. It will keep students engaged and retain them as students because if a student, regardless of career, if you're in digital design or history, that's a research program, really. If they can see where they'll be in the future, they're more likely to stick with it and get to that endpoint. So I'm really excited about the Career Empowerment Center. And one of our directors is charged with building deep relationships with, say, 20 of our, the employers that really work with our students or that we want to make sure that they consider Cal State East Bay students. So that's exciting. We cannot be this ivory tower on a hill. We have to be really closely engaged and connected with our surrounding community to help the community and to help our students and graduates.
That that program sounds innovative, and I like how you're talking about weaving it all the way through, both with the employers, with the students over years. So it's not something they're coming to at the and it's something that's embracing them and becoming part of the culture.
I would say that many of our alumni and other people who work in these industries want to engage in students, want to give back. So part of that will provide opportunities for people to come in and be guest speakers in classes or to serve as mentors to students or to allow students to shadow them in their jobs and perhaps even, supervise an internship for a student. So there are multiple ways that people in the East Bay community can give back to the next generation and to their field by engaging with us. We're excited about what the future holds.
Well, and in that future, you have a new allied health college. Can you tell
That's
us more about that?
Yeah, that's correct. So my previous university, University of Alaska Anchorage, we had a College of Health. And I saw with my own eyes the benefits of having all those healthcare related departments affiliated with each other. There were opportunities for increased funding from the federal government and so forth. So we do not have a College of Health or allied health here at Cal State East Bay, but we do have healthcare related departments spread among other colleges. So, for example, we have an existing Department of Nursing that I mentioned before. We have an existing Department of Public Health, kinesiology, which is very research based and a precursor to physical therapy. We have a robust social work program, which is frontline, healthcare, mental health counseling, and we have a speech language and hearing sciences department. And they're scattered throughout the university. So the idea is through a reorganization, we're not creating this from scratch. Through a reorganization, we're going to bring those departments together in one entity. And I know that we'll be able to leverage off of each other and really amplify what we're doing. I did some focus groups with employers, so the health systems, big insurers, um, hospitals, to kind of pitch this idea, and they loved it because they are looking ahead 10 years and the aging of the population and what they're going to need in the healthcare workforce of the future. So we can structure a whole thematic approach within our new College of Health or Allied Health that will really focus on meeting those needs. And I know our faculty are excited. We've been planning this for 2 years, and we're planning to launch it in the fall of 2025 after we hire a new dean and raise some seed money to get it going.
It's when we talk about partnering with businesses in the community and planning ahead to what the community needs, this just fits into that, right? It's planning ahead to where our population is growing, what is the needs of the community, and what are the opportunity for students in the workforce. I think you're right on the money. We're building a startup for the Shadelands, which I run that property business improvement district in Walnut Creek. We have every major medical in the Bay Area there now, and we'd love to be partners because I think the companies who we could recruit out here are innovation in healthcare companies, right? Innovation in sports tech with our sports mall. I look forward to a collaborative partnership with your group out here because I think there's a good translation between students graduating who have great new ideas and partnering them with those medical providers out here.
Well, absolutely. And I think we're already working on a meeting to talk about that. And Bob Linscheid, the president of the Walnut Creek Chamber, and he was a former trustee of the California State University system. So I know that we're going to start seriously talking about what we can do out there. And we look forward to it. It's just down the street from our Concord Center. So Cal State East Bay has a whole center, physical location in Concord.
Yeah, you knew exactly where I was going. So, talk about what is the Concord campus? It's over an hour from the main campus. What's offered there? What is its goals? Does it serve a different population? Educate us a little bit about that.
Yeah, that property was developed in the 1990s. And this was at a time when Contra Costa County said, well, why don't we have a California State University campus in our county? And so the idea was we would start small and we would see grow how it grew. Now that location never really developed into a full-blown, comprehensive university campus. There were many factors that kind of created that situation. So it's located out Ignacio Valley Road at the base of Mount Diablo. It's a little bit, transit challenged, if you will. At the same time, the community college system really grew and was attracting students for the first two-year curriculum, and then we saw the advent of online education all around that same time. So what we're realizing is that particular location will not develop into a comprehensive campus, but it is still a very robust educational center. So, number one, we have a cohort of nursing students out there in Contra Costa County studying at our Concord Center, and they do their clinical placements at hospitals in Contra Costa County, and then they get jobs in those hospitals. So, we are producing the nursing workforce specifically for that area. In addition, we have a very robust learning and retirement program. It's a national program funded by a local foundation, the Bernard Osher Foundation, and it's called the Osher Lifelong Learning Institute. And these are short courses for people, non-credit, for people who are retired, but maybe they want to learn more about history, maybe they want to learn more about science. They're taught by university faculty and either in person at the Concord Center or online, which people have learned to do during the pandemic. And that's been going for, oh, 20 years or more. And it's one of the biggest in the state of California. In addition, we have a partnership with the Ohlone Indian tribe, specifically Louis Trevino and Vincent Medina, who run the Ohlone Cafe restaurant out in Berkeley. And we got a grant. We have planted with their collaboration native herbs and native plants that eventually they will harvest for use in their restaurants. So we're doing some very interesting educational activities out there that are unique to the region, and we have more flexibility because it's not a regular campus, it's a center.
And you have a document that's year and a half old that talks about reimagining the Concord campus. You talked about increasing the senior programs. You talked about the garden for the with the Ohlone tribes. What else? How do you think that campus will evolve as part of this reimagined program?
Well, we do have beautiful land out there, and I know that every city is under pressure to increase housing, especially affordable housing. So, one thing that we're hoping to do is talk with developers and see if we can put together a public private partnership for some lovely affordable housing out there, possibly given that we have the learning and retirement community, independent living housing development out there might be a good fit, but we're open to looking at other ways that we can, within the bounds, maintaining the beautiful environment, but also meeting other needs that we have in the local community, and housing is certainly one of them. So we'll see, fingers crossed, that we can get a good project going that we all can be proud of.
Yeah, well, let us know how the business community and the local governments out here can help. I think, like you said, we just all know there's a need for it, and affordable senior housing, even particularly in the area, would be great. Y- the college is also going through a rebrand campaign that includes a new mascot. Can you catch us up on that opportunity?
Yeah, Jared, I when I first got here, I even though everything was remote, I started in January of 2021. So this was right in the middle of the pandemic before vaccines were widely available. I did my listening session. So it's kind of just open, hearing what people have to say. And really the College of Health emerged from those conversations. But the other thing I heard again and again was that Cal State East Bay is a hidden gem. Cal State East Bay is the best kept secret. And, we don't wanna those are positive terms, don't get me wrong, but I want us to be known. I want people to have more awareness of who we are and what's special about us. We had been kind of generic university, generic branding, but we are very special. If you look at the students we serve, you look at the region we serve, let's really lean into that. So I found some, funding that I could use to we did an RFP and hired a branding company, Vision Point. They're doing a wonderful job. It's very research based. They started with a lot of, qualitative focus groups, quantitative surveys. So everything we're doing is based on the research. And our main audience are students, prospective students, and current students. But what we're learning also applies to our employees, it applies to our alumni, it applies to our partners, friends, and supporters. And so starting in the fall, you'll see more of this, and it really will be much more edgy. It will pick up on the multiculturalism of the East Bay, the energy of the East Bay. We want to stand out from other universities in our area. Yeah, we're in Berkeley's shadow, but hey, we do something different and special, and we deserve that recognition as well. We changed our branding. If you fly in and out of the Oakland airport, you've probably seen, our banner ads that in that case, it's We Are East Bay, and it really showcases our students and their grit and their determination and their strength. And so we're just going to play off of that. The other thing is Cal State East Bay has been our nickname has been the Pioneers. Our athletic teams are the Pioneers. And back in 1957, when we started, our mascot was an astronaut because you remember it was the space race, Sputnik, all of that. So that's kind of where the Pioneers came from. Over time, it evolved into more of, colonizer identity. So our mascot was what we call Six Gun Pete, and there came a point in time where that was had a negative connotation, that it wasn't really empowering for our students or for our campus. So my predecessor, President Leroy Morishita, retired Six Gun Pete as the mascot, and they didn't develop another mascot. So we're still the pioneers, but what we're looking at is a local bird or animal, and we had some students do the research. What are some local regional birds or animals that aren't used by another California State University campus, that aren't used as the mascot of a local university or community college in our region? And we came up with three possibilities. So one was the jackal. So it's an animal like a coyote, but Cal State San Bernardino are the coyotes. So, jackal. The second was the spotted owl. And the third is a peregrine falcon. And this semester we did a survey where our students were able to weigh in, and I'm not going to reveal the results on this call. I'm saving that for a big reveal, but we will have a bird or an animal as our mascot. We'll get the costume that will, be at our athletic events, or if we're out and at a community farmers market or community celebration, the kids can have their picture taken with the Cal State East Bay mascot. So I am very grateful because how many presidents get to preside over a university when they're choosing a mascot? I feel really lucky in that way. And I think this will stand the test of time. And it'll be just a fun figure to associate with our university.
Can you tell us a timeline of
Uh,
when that announcement may come?
In the fall. In the
Okay.
fall. So by then we'll have the kind of a logo designed also so we can do a little bit of a splash. So, and I think the bird or animal will either be named Pio, Pio to tie into pioneer, or EB, EEBEE to tie into East Bay. So EB the jackal or Pio the falcon. And so it's really fun how it's all coming together.
Yeah, that does sound like a lot of fun to get to be there and choose that. Uh, and how you're redeveloping your reputation in the community, and how you talk about that's important for for you, the university, and the students to really feel like they are a part of the East Bay.
Absolutely. Like I said, I was born and raised here, and coming back, you really feel I would call it deep down working class roots. People who roll up their sleeves and get things done. We're different than San Francisco. We're different than Silicon Valley, and we have a lot going for us. And I want that to come through. It's a source of pride. We want our students to be proud of who they are, where they're from, and to be empowered about their future. And I think that will reflect on the whole community in a positive way. So I'm excited to get it out there.
And I got to ask, as a dad of three girls, 9 and under, and I think I've asked you this before when we've met in person, but even for those parents out there who are in high school, what what advice do you want to give them in educating their kids and getting them college ready? What should parents be thinking about so their kids are college ready as they're going to start to do their applications, or before then so they're ready for it?
Well, I think it's really important to educate yourself on what those requirements are. If you want your child to start at a 4-year university, there's certain classes that they need to complete in high school in order to be admitted. So educate yourself early on, starting with algebra in the 8th grade. So really supporting your students with that more challenging coursework. I think visiting different campuses, so we do different community events at our campuses, just exposing your children to how cool a university or college campus is, that it's not like high school. It's not like middle school. It is much, bigger, dynamic. It's not a scary environment. A lot's going on there. You have a lot of different choices. So I think those are things that parents can do early on, and just supporting the education of the students, reading to your children, bringing them to museums, that love of learning new things. I think that's important. I know there is a public perception right now that higher education is too expensive or it's not worth it, but the data do not support that. It coming to a place like Cal State East Bay, our tuition and fees for a whole year are about $7,000. Now, if you start at a community college where it's even more affordable than that and transfer, you're saving money. 80% of our students, and we have 12,000 students, remember, get some form of financial aid or discount. And 60% of our students do not pay any tuition or fees. So it is affordable. It definitely is. And the salary differential of someone with a bachelor's degree versus someone with a high school diploma on average is huge. In addition, periods of unemployment are shorter. You're more likely to be healthier, and your family's more likely to be healthier because you have employer paid insurance. There are so many benefits to completing that degree. So parents need to counteract this static and kind of perception and narrative out there in society that it's not worth it. It is worth it. And it can be fun. Where else are you exposed to people from all different walks of life? Where else can you go to a play one day, watch, a baseball game the next day? You have to pay for that stuff after you graduate. While you're
Right.
in college, it's available to you. So it is a wonderful opportunity still to this day. And we need to counteract what's coming through on social media to students, what they're hearing from their friends, because it is absolutely a benefit to them personally, to their families, to society, to complete that bachelor's degree or beyond.
Yeah, I really appreciate how you didn't just answer on college ready, but you painted a bigger picture there of college life, right? And taking the tour and my kids know I went to Florida State University, and I went during the first set of good years. And my kids know on Saturdays in the fall, my religion is Florida State football. I know that's not for everybody and everybody has different experiences, but it just shows the pride that I have and others can have wherever they go to school.
Absolutely, and that's a big message when you look at those games and you see people painted up and cheering. It does show the fun side, the social side of higher education, and that's an important piece of it too.
Right. Anything that I haven't asked you? Anything else you want to leave us with before we head out today?
Well, one big push for us here at Cal State East Bay, because our students are so diverse, they come from different communities, maybe marginalized communities, is we want to make sure that we are focused on belonging, that a student can come here to Cal State East Bay, be themselves, find people with similar lived experiences, feel comfortable so that they can focus on their studies, and we'll help them discover who they want to become. So we're not going to change you if you come to Cal State East Bay. We want you to come as you are and feel you belong and find what's next. So we have developed a number of what we call um, affinity-based student success centers. So our Black Student Success Center, Latinx Student Success Center, Asian Pacific Islander. And this month, which we celebrate Pride Month in April at universities because students are still here, we'll be opening up a Pride Center. So making sure we have spaces for students to feel comfortable and that they belong, that's something that we have really focused on here at Cal State East Bay. And we've made a lot of progress and we're proud of that.
Yeah, you should be proud of that. That's a great accomplishment to your student body and everything there. So
Well,
we
thank you,
appreciate.
Jared. The fact to be on your podcast, I know your listeners, many are employers, people who are really dedicated to, you know, supporting and improving the East Bay. And I'm grateful to have the opportunity to show them that we're part of that conversation and that we want to just be even more engaged, involved, interwoven with life in the East Bay.
Great. Thank you, President Cathy Sandeen from Cal State East Bay. I appreciate you being here with us today.
My pleasure.
Wait, don't leave yet. Hit subscribe. Make sure you get the weekly updates. We have a new episode every Wednesday for stuff happening in the East Bay.